is 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay. Rep your city. Let me see the mic. Rep your city. Give me the mic. Rep your city. I got you. Rep your city. I'm gonna tell you how mine. Rep your city.
It's time for us to go live, so rep your city. I really would appreciate if y'all roll with me. Feeling this music cause it makes me wanna step. And if you don't want it to, then you lying to yourself. Cause every time we party, we gon' have fun. I don't know about you, but I'ma rep where I'm from.
Rep your city. Okay. Rep your city. Let me see the mic. Rep your city. Give me the mic. Rep your city.
Welcome to the RYC Live Show this evening. My name is Artistic. I'm your host for tonight. And this is Rep Your City RYC Live Fresh Fridays. And so we're back once again with another fresh episode this fresh Friday night. We are kicking it live right here in the base of Chicago, but yet we circulate around the globe. So I just want to send a super shout out to all our viewers tuning in tonight. We thank you and we appreciate you all for each and every Friday night that you spend time with us on the platform. But do us a favor. Make sure you save the information to our YouTube channel, which is RYC Live. That's our YouTube channel. Go to our YouTube channel and click that subscribe button. Go ahead and do that whenever you get a chance. And also, if you'd like to be a guest on a future show, please send us an email to ryclive@yahoo.com. That's ryclive@yahoo.com. And someone from the team will be more than happy to get back to you to book you for a future date on a future show. So I am so excited tonight. We have a lot of great things in store for our viewers that's tuning in tonight. So do us a favor right now, right at this moment. Share this broadcast. Share it to a family member. Share it to a crewmate. Share it to anyone that you think might be interested in listening to our discussion tonight. We're going to be talking to a legend of Chicago hip hop. He's in the backstage area right now. I'm going to bring him on in just a moment. But before I do, we just want to encourage you all to keep it locked and loaded on this platform, on this channel. We continually do this for us, by us, each and every Friday night. And not only that, the family and team, RYC Live, will be in the building tonight. In the building. And we got some announcements that we're going to make tonight in regard to some additional members to the platform. Okay, some additional features that's going to be highlighted on this platform for some future shows. So y'all keep it locked and loaded. Once again, share this broadcast. And I am so excited to announce that next weekend, we will be able to watch the debut officially of the adult breaking competition in the 2024 World Olympics. How about that, y'all? For all the B-boys and B-girls and street dancers all around the world, we have finally come to be able to see in just a week from now, breaking debut in the adult competition for the women's and men's division of the 2024 Olympics. So excited to watch that. So next Friday, they're going to be highlighting that, and we'll highlight some more of the details at the conclusion of this show. But y'all can watch it on Peacock. If you have streaming availabilities to watch on Peacock, obviously you can watch it on the NBC network. next Friday and next Saturday. The entire day will be filled with the competition. On Friday, it'll be the women's competition, and on Saturday, it's the men's competition. So 2024 Breaking will be debuted next Friday and Saturday. Much love and respect to all the dancers that's going to be a part of that. And the ones that's going to Paris, I also want to send a shout out to some of our Chicagoans that's going out there. Shout out to our homegirl, Katana Pop, from the Electric Samurais crew. She's a popper here in Chicago. She's out there with some of her crewmates. Also, shout out to Basha, who's from Poland, representing Chicago, going out to the Olympics next week in Paris. And super shout out to my homeboy Coney Rock from the Chicago Tribe. Also, I believe he's going out with some of his members to represent on the film side. So he's going to be filming the event. So just super, super excited. So much great things happening between now and then. And one more thing before I bring my man out, as I would like to thank everyone that checked in with us last week at the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum. So all those that came out last week to participate in the epic photo shoot that we did at the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum, 4505 South Indiana. We thank you all. The photo came out so beautiful and lovely. If you have not seen it, check us out on the page on social media platforms. You can go to my page, or you can go to the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage page, or anybody that you know that might have went to that event. I'm sure they're sharing the photos on their pages. All right. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my brother. He's one of the legends of Chicago hip hop. He goes by the name of Flameroc DaGreat. I'm so excited to hear his story tonight. He's one of those brothers that we've been looking forward to getting on the show so that he can tell his side of the story, so we can connect all the dots. He goes all the way back to the 80s representing here in Chicago. And so without further ado, I can't tell his story better than he can. So welcome to the show, our brother, the one and only legend of Chicago hip hop, brother Flameroc DaGreat.
Peace.
What's up? Check your camera. It's cutting off your head.
Oh, it's cutting my face off.
All right.
Yes, we here, brother.
Yes, sir. We are here. Thank you, man, once again for coming on the show. We have made it. And, hey, man, it's an honor and a privilege to have you on the set.
Yes, sir. And I'm honored to be here on the set. It's always nice to be recognized by your peers, man. There's nothing that feels greater than that. You know what I mean? So
yes, sir.
All the money in the world don't compare to that. So this is very it's definitely an honor.
Yes, sir. So listen, man. There's a lot going on in hip hop. Some people think hip hop is dead. Some people don't like the current state of hip hop. So we're gonna get into all of that. But before we come to the current state of hip hop, we'd like to go all the way back to the beginning of hip hop and how it started and began for you. So what year would you say, and what was it that influenced you to want to get into the game?
We go back to the 80s, you know what I'm saying, about 84, 85. It was me, Taco Bobski, Snake Rock, Chaz, who was Che Best, 3D, people like that. These are people that, were very integral into part of what we're doing now. But we started off breakdancing and things like that. We were called we had a little crew called the Seville Rockers. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the Seville Rockers were a good breakdancing crew, but they quickly surpassed my ability to breakdance. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I wasn't the greatest breakdancer at that time. So they decided that I wouldn't be part of the breakdancing part of the group. I would be the rapper.
Okay.
I really didn't understand exactly what that meant at the time, so I had to go check that out. You know what I mean? That's when Ice-T and Evil E was out. You know what I mean? So I was really a big-time Ice-T fan, man. Even in that battle against LL Cool J, I was definitely on the Ice-T side of things. You know what I mean? So I picked up a lot of my swag from listening to Ice-T, in particular, of all of the rappers that were out at the time. 6 in the Morning and all those songs, and all the songs he did about his DJs, you know what I mean? Those had a major influence on me in particular. MC Shan also. So, those were the MCs that really made a impact on me in the beginning. You know, when I was deciding, okay, I'm gonna take being a rapper very seriously. So
Okay, okay. So what part of the town in Chicago were you from during the time you got in the game?
I was on the west side. You know,
Mm-hmm.
me and Taco Bobski, we go back to sixth grade.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, we were in sixth grade together. We were always in certain type of classrooms. You know, we were in gifted classrooms and things like that. So we had a lot more liberty to do things that we thought were creative as compared to a more traditional, disciplined classroom where everybody had to sit down and shut up and do what they were told type thing. We were never really in that kind of situation. You know, we were in classes where we were expected to be creative. We were expected to come up with things. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it was just a totally different learning environment at the time. You know, for us. So
Okay,
me,
okay.
yep. And Snake, he went to who y'all probably call him Big Threes now, but back then he was Snake MC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Snake Rock,
yeah.
and we yeah, we all formed a crew called the Cold Chilling Crew. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, we started writing rhymes. You know what I mean? Right then, you know, UTFO, Roxanne Shante. You know, these are the people who had major influence on us. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So were you also a part of their outfit called FIO? Figure it out.
No, I wasn't at FIO. By the time FIO came out, I was back to the South Side again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's kind of what made me unique of MCs because the West Side and the North Side they rap one type of way.
Mm-hmm.
They idea is, especially back then, nobody can rap better than me. You know what I mean? That was the
Mm-hmm.
idea.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank. Period. It was no. Everybody's rap was mine is better than yours.
Okay.
When I went to the South Side, they were storytelling.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it was a mix of storytelling. Cause see, I grew up with in two households, my mother's household and my father's household. So
Okay.
my mother lived one place, my father lived another place. So if you talk to DA Smart, he'll say, yeah, I grew up with Neef. You know, I grew up with Flame. You know what I mean? That's my
Mm-hmm.
man. I knew him forever. You know what I mean? We've been doing this forever together. His sister was my first girlfriend. So we go back like that. So, but at the same time, my other parent lived on the west side.
Mm.
So I was able to combine, you know what I mean, the storytelling of the south side along with the lyricism of the west side. So that's what made me a different type of artist than every other artist in the city, as far as I was concerned, you know.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
how would you describe your particular style of rhyme for back then when you were, doing it at your peak?
When I was doing it at my peak, my whole thing was telling the honest to God truth.
Okay.
You know, we wasn't trying to exaggerate. You know, we considered ourselves reporters of what was happening on the streets, you know, whether it involved us or whether it involved other people, you know. So that's really what it was. You know, a lot of people call it gangster rap and all this kind of stuff. We used to call it reality rap.
Okay.
This is the first name of it, you know.
Okay.
It was the reality of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you know, it was nothing about, you know, trying to glorify gangsterism. You know, if I can give you an idea, you know, of a very old rhyme that I had, you know, and I said guns and knives is what hate kept handing me. Compassion and love said, fuck it, they abandoned me. My boy got shot in the back, still ran to me. This shit was done to me. I never planned to be. I'm really from the hood, the genuine article. I seen cats get blown to dust particles. So, you know, it wasn't nothing about
Mm.
trying to make it seem like something was glorious or it was something we should be doing. It was the reality of the situation. Yeah,
Right. No, I totally feel you. And that was just a different time. It was a different spirit.
right.
Many of us, were advocate followers of WHBK,
Oh,
and
definitely.
we were all about the vocabulary and the messaging.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah, you had to read books back when we can rap. You know,
yeah.
there was no. I don't understand. Yeah, you're right. I don't want to discredit what people are doing today because you know things evolve. But
Yeah.
yeah, you had to be an intelligent person. You had to be reading books. You had to be saying something. Yeah, it was a totally different vibe.
Yeah. Okay. So, was you going by the name? Did you have any names before Flameroc DaGreat? You
You know,
started using?
I was. It's funny how that you brought that up. I was Flame MC. You know what I mean? Until I came to the South Side and I went to Robeson High School, and Tate the Great went there. So this was a problem for me. You know what I mean? You know, I'm here now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as who's the best, you know, who's the best MC in the school, this is a real thing when we was coming up.
Right.
This was no joke. This was not a, you know what I'm saying? I'm Flameroc DaGreat. I'm here now. You know what I mean? So, you know, let's go ahead outside. Let's get the whole school out here and let's settle this. You know what I mean? Let's not have people misunderstanding, you know what I mean, what the pecking order around here is when it comes to MCing. You know what I mean? And that was a big deal for us, you know, when we were coming up in those times. You know what I mean? So, and I come up with, I mean, you know, Big Threes, you know, D.A. Smart and them, you know, Doc and Los and them. You know, I come up with premier MCs. So, you know, when I step on the scene, it is what it is. We got to decide, you know what I'm saying, who's the best. So that's what Flameroc DaGreat came from. You know what I mean? Because Tate the Great was certainly not greater than me.
You know? That's what's okay. So did you go to more than one high school?
Yeah, I went to Roosevelt until I was on the north side until I was in 11th grade. So, you know, that's where all my friends from my graffiti background come from. You know what I'm saying? The feds. So before the feds was the feds, you know, Tricks and them, Slang them, those was my boys. You know what I mean? I never did graffiti. And that's the time I tagged my name, you know what I mean? But other than tagging, I didn't do no major graffiti, you know, like Snake Rock and them, they did FIO, they did major graffiti, you know. They was rappers, but they did major graffiti, you know, all of them. And you know, Tricks and Slang, they world renowned, you know what I mean? So so the whole ABC crew, those was my friends. Some of them went to Roosevelt, you know what I mean? I got hooked up with them. And then when the feds came together, ABC, MPC, and PN1, then I got to know all those guys. So the Northside writers, you know, those was all my buddies, you know.
Okay, that's what's up. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation, right? You know, we could talk we could have separate shows on just the elements alone.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we really all fed off each other, and a lot of people don't understand that we could travel the city. You know, we can go in the most dangerous of areas, you know. We could be confronted by the most dangerous of people. But as soon as they find out you're an artist on any one of those levels, you as a B-boy, it was automatic B-boy pass. It really wasn't nobody who was going to do anything to you. You know what I mean? It's, you know, the B-boys in the neighborhood are going to come out. They're going to make sure that you're safe. You know what I mean? And that was everywhere. I was able to travel all through the city and not have problems, you know. If you're on 69th and Racine, that's Raheem and them. If you're on 79th and Carpenter, that's DOJ and them. And if you're in Inglewood, that's JMD and them. You know what I mean? If, you know, if you're in where I'm from, you're on 51st, you're in Motown, that's me. You know what I mean? It's, you know, if you're in the projects, that's DA and them. Man, nothing's gonna happen to you if you was a B-boy. You're in Chicago. So
yeah. Now, speaking of which, you do know that breaking is going to the Olympics, right?
Definitely. You know, hip hop is taking over the world, man.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I listen to rappers in Ghana.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do a whole project, and I'm going to say this live while I'm on your show. You know, I want to do a whole project, you know, that I want to not dedicate to Africa in a sense, but I want to write it about Africa. I want to educate Africans, that African Americans care about Africa, that, you know, we understand that it's a market over there that is, you know, they listening to us and we listen to them. You know what I mean? So I would like to produce a whole album coming out about that. I'm trying to entice certain MCs to do certain songs about certain regions. You know, I did a whole song called "Oh My Lord," and it's about the Sudan and the Darfur region and the Janjaweed and, you know, the displacement of Black people over there in that country, you know, and things like that. So, and there are other topics to talk about, like Congo, you know, of different parts of the diaspora, like Haiti, and the things that they're going through. I'm trying to take the music back to the revolution.
Okay. Well, you know, I know that there's a lot of different opinionated ideas today when it comes to hip hop. and you know, it could definitely be all over the place, you know. But like you said, you know, when we came up, we represented the culture, right?
Absolutely.
We represented the elements. We didn't divide the elements. We represented the elements, and even if you didn't participate, like you say, you didn't necessarily, you know, push forth in the element of graffiti, but you could tag your name at least,
Right, at
right?
least, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so that still was a contribution. And
Hmm.
yet you hung and knew other writers that pursued that element. You know
Oh,
what I'm saying?
absolutely.
So you understand the value and the importance of it being connected to hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
Today, you know, it's again, it's one of those things where some people might say I'm hip hop, but I just follow the element of rap, you know,
Right,
and that you know
right.
blows my
Yeah.
mind because it's kind of like almost saying, you know, the rest of those things don't even matter.
Yeah, and
You know?
that's such a big difference between today and the days of yesteryear. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, you know, the graffiti artist was extremely happy to have me around because I could rap.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You
Exactly.
know, they run into rappers all the time. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, the graffiti artists that I would hang around, rap was about battling back then. It was about who's the best. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, if you get to hang around with premier graffiti artists, then obviously you a premier MC. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You're not just somebody, you know what I mean, that know how to make words rhyme. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
definitely do more than that. And you know, when the Wall of Fame was up and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's the atmosphere is so different now compared to what the atmosphere was like back then, you know?
Well, that's why it's also important that we try to preserve the culture to the best of our ability as well too, because some people just don't know. So
Right.
and they probably won't know until brothers like you and I come on and help them to become understand or help them to become insightful on the information, because you know it's not like it's right there in their hands.
Mhm.
You know, and some of them are not really privy to doing research and digging up to find out what it is if it ain't right there in front of their eyes. You know,
Right, indeed.
but when they talk to a brother like you and I, if they have any kind of level of appreciation, then they'll be like,
Mhm.
"Oh, okay, I didn't know that." You know,
Right.
oh, that connects to this and that connects to that. You know, so you
Mhm.
know, we do have a responsibility to some degree, and that's the reason why my brother and I, you know, Mr. RYC Live and
Yeah.
the people that we work with at the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum, our whole
Mhm.
ideology is preserving the culture. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? It's preserving the culture, and at the end of the day,
Mhm.
because that's what got us into it. That's what attracted us to it. And
Right.
so, and again, we're celebrating right now. We're celebrating breaking, going to the Olympics. You know,
Indeed.
and
Indeed. Indeed.
and that's not the only achievement hip hop. You know, we got so many huge achievements in the culture itself. Whereas back in the '80s, people told us that it was just a fad; it wasn't even going to last.
And
You
look how
know,
many millionaires it has created to this day. And
exactly.
you know, and not just people who made millions of dollars. Like, if you take somebody like me, who, you know, I had some musical inclination, but I had no formal training. But I ended up getting formal training because I knew how to rap. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I knew how to rap, I was accepted in the circles that I wouldn't have been accepted into otherwise. I mean, all the way to the point now, you know, I have a double master's degree. One of my master's degrees is in music composition. So I can read and write music for every instrument. I have perfect pitch. I can write for all 64 instruments of the orchestra.
Okay.
I can absolutely thank hip hop for that. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I
Hmm.
would not have pursued those things. And a lot of people don't know that if you go to school for music on a professional level, and I went to St. Mary's, I went to a predominantly white institution. You know, they had cross country skiing on campus. So, you
Okay.
know, this is not, it was 14 black people there, and I promise you, 12 of them was on the basketball team. So
Okay.
that's how that was. You know what I mean? But if you were to go to any university, any major university in the United States of America, and you take um, any form of music degree, you are going to study classical musicians probably the first half of maybe the first 2 semesters that you go to college. And after that, they might as well call it AP African Studies, because you are going to study black people. for all the rest of your years in college. You are going to study the music that we made, syncopation, moving to closely related keys. You're going to study jazz. You're going to study theme and variation. Yo, everything that is significant, you will understand became the ingredients of what hip hop is. So people can say Kool Herc started it, and this person started it in the Bronx, or this person started it in Queensbridge. I will argue with them and say the Last Poet started it. You know what I mean? If they haven't heard the Last Poets, I'm sure they have, but that was certainly out before then. If you talking about bringing big speakers outside and having a party, then we can argue that America started that. African America started that. But as far as rapping, hip hop is concerned, how it went from one stage to the next, you know what I'm saying? Rhythm and poetry. Yeah, I take it back to the Last Poets, man. I challenge people to listen to Jones Coming Down by the Last Poets, and then go back and listen to Don't Push Me, because I'm close to the edge.
Right.
And compare those two, you know what I mean? And see the evolution, you know. So yeah.
Well, the conversation again can get deep, and again, I always highlight that people, when we have discussion about hip hop, more people gear toward the music aspect, the rap aspect, and which rightfully so, because that's the one that's in the forefront. But I always help and remind people that that's not the only element, because again, this is a collective. That's why it's called the hip hop culture.
Indeed.
And when you go back and you look at people like Bambaataa starting the Zulu Nation, he didn't just say we're gonna call this the hip hop culture under the rap element. He included all those elements, from the graffiti writers to the DJs, the producers, the MCs, all and even fashion. Some people don't even talk about that. They don't talk about this elements that people don't even have forgot about. Beatboxing. Entrepreneurialism. We were entrepreneurs before I could even pronounce the word.
Definitely. And Taco Bobski, he was our beatbox, you know what I mean, in our crew. So he was, Taco was one of the coldest, and he became to be one of the coldest producers in the game. You know what I mean? As a result of that, that's where that comes from. You know what I mean? But yeah, it comes from him first being a beatbox, but.
Yeah.
And that was very serious. And DJs too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
DJs don't seem to get the props that they deserve right now. And especially in Chicago, because to be a hip hop DJ in Chicago was hard work back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They only had a few places that they could really apply their craft besides their home, you know what I mean? But I did a lot of business with Tone from 67th and what street did it's one of them funny dead end cut off streets, Hartwell. 67th and Hartwell, a lot of work with Cooley, you know what I'm saying? Cooley, that was my man. May he rest in peace. I spent a lot of time with him before he passed. He was down here in Nashville with me for a long time, and then he went and got with Intelligent Ghost up in Minnesota. You know what I mean? So he was always on the move, you know what I mean? But yeah, all of the DJs and the clubs, I mean, the Blue Gargoyle, the Rap Trap, the Lower Links, you know what I mean? All these places, you know what I mean? Even Rainbow and some of those places at times, you know what I mean? At other times, we ain't talking about the house thing, but I wasn't a big fan of that at all, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I was on the other side of the fence when it came to that, That was always an issue in Chicago, because we did have opportunities to do house music and rap doing house music. And I know house music was a predominantly Chicago thing, but I felt we were oppressed by the house DJs. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That they did things to prevent us, you know what I mean? And keep us on HPK and KKC and other radio stations that were more localized to where we lived, as opposed to, WBMX and WGCI and, the things that the Hot Mix 5 could have done for us. They could have played our records in their entirety the way that they were. We shouldn't have had to become hip house, as people like to call it. When we talk about Crush Mob and Crush Posse, we will get into that conversation a little bit more. But yeah.
Okay, so before we do, because I definitely want to get into that, and we're going to take a commercial break in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
But you know, that makes for interesting conversation in Chicago, just because we have both of those movements growing and developing together in Chicago.
Right.
So we had the house movement and we had the hip hop movement.
Yeah.
But I think that there was a lot of friction between the two, specifically because both of them were developing and growing at the same time, and yet house seemed to kind of was prevailing, so to speak,
Definitely.
just because actually the connection that they had with the DJs. So you know, when people like Jesse Saunders made a record, or Chip E, or any Marshall Jefferson, any of those house pioneers, when they begin to make house tracks, they actually had a funnel of DJs to play the music on the radio. You know,
Indeed.
whereas we not so much. You know,
Not so much.
Yeah, and so you know, so ideally, with the house music kind of taking over the airways, so to speak, you know, and it being a native of Chicago, unlike hip hop, you know, it's bound to be a little like, hey, you know, that hip hop stuff is from New York, you know, take that back. You know, Flameroc, you still there, my brother? All right, y'all. It looks like we may have lost our brother Flameroc temporarily. So with that being said, you know, we just gonna keep it on moving. We're gonna keep it on moving. Hey, y'all send us some comments, send us some questions if y'all have any. Send it to in the comment area. We're gonna keep doing what we do right here, Fresh Fridays, Friday nights special, right? I'm so excited because I got so many people in the backstage area just sitting back, chilling and watching and observing. I see y'all, you know. So yeah, hey, so let me go on back. I see my brother Flameroc and came back on. So yo, yeah, man. So listen, everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. Yeah,
Okay.
I had a little technical difficulty there. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So let's get right into, again, let's talk a little bit about the organizations.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
First of all, let me shout out to my homeboy John Anthony that may be watching. Thank you, brother. I see you checking in. And shout out to the one and only Raheem checking in. WGDN Action News. Peace to the top.
Indeed. Shout out to Raheem.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of these organizations, because you know I came up being should I say connected by association, so to speak, not official.
Right.
But I came up, you know, in my days we were representing the Zulu Nation. Right. And only because it was connected to the hip hop that was coming out of New York, you know. But at the time, a lot of us in my neighborhood, most of us had never even been to New York. But when we were connected to the cats that was producing the stuff coming out of New York, it was the Zulu Nation, right? African Bambaataa and the Universal Zulu Nation. And so, you know, but then there came a period of time where we wanted to kind of put our own thumbprint on hip hop, so to speak. So then the Chiraq Nation was born. Okay. Right. And that was specifically for hip hop in Chicago. But along with Chiraq, we had Purple Mansion. We had, again, Zulu Nation. We had Death Rock. We had East Rock. Right. You know? So we had all of these other organizations that were kind of simmering and doing their thing pretty much around the same time. Some were maybe a little earlier, but eventually it got to the where all of us were we had our finger on the pulse at one point.
Indeed.
So what was the shout out to our other homeboy right here. He's checking in. Peace to the Flame MC, he says.
Yeah. That's True Son from
True Son checking in one time for your mind. Yes, sir. Hey, so what organization that you joined? I know I represented Chiraq, and other people represented other organizations. Which one did you rep?
As far as that whole situation went, a lot of my homies went with Chiraq. Everybody almost went with Chiraq. I did not go with either one of those organizations at the time because Crush Mob was coming.
Okay.
Crush Posse was already being talked about.
Okay.
Now it became my group, And when people think about it, they think about me. It's not how it started. When it started, it was JMD and it was DLJ, and we was about to form this super group. You know, so many solo. I was with Severe Damage, Raw. We was Rhymers at War. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was going to be a super group. DLJ had a crew. JMD had a crew. I had a crew. It was a bunch of Doc and Low Sconey was going to be a part of it. So it was a whole group of us that was going to represent Chicago rappers united to serve hip hop.
Okay.
That's what Crush stood for. Okay. Now, when JMD decided to do a record with the House guys, that created a fracture. In the situation. Because I was 1,000% anti-house music. You know what I mean? That's the position I took. You know what I mean? You know, I didn't want to hear nothing about no house DJs. You know what I'm saying? And we knew them. You know, we knew Fast Eddie and them. You know what I mean? So they was our friends. You know, they were not our enemies, but not in the game. You know what I mean? In the game, I was, you know, some people was more along the middle lines of it, and they could do a little bit of both, but not me. You know what I mean? I was, you know, I was anti-house music. I was 100% hip-hop, 100% b-boy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to dress like them. I wasn't going to dance like them. I wasn't going to go to none of their parties. You know what I mean? None of that. You know what I'm saying? I took a hard pass on house music and all that. And I had some opinions about them that's definitely not politically correct these days. So I certainly wasn't going to associate myself with those individuals. You know what I mean? The major house, and I knew the major house individuals. Farley, you know, we was with Star Point Class Acts. So that was Mike Miles and them. So we were riding in limousines every day, you know, when we was 15 years old. But Star Point Class Act also represented house DJs. So I might be in a limo with Farley. I might be in a limo with anybody from the Hot Mix 5, you know, because I might be going one place and they might be going another place. And we might be in the same limousine, you know, and their attitudes and mannerisms were very different from mine. You know what I mean? I'm a boy from the projects. I'm from the West Side, South Side. You know what I mean? I'm nothing like Farley now. You know what I'm talking about? Right. You know, I'm not gonna disparage anything about him. He was a very famous man who did awesome work in Chicago. You know, we just were on different wavelengths. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it. And you know, it is what it was, right? You know, and at the end of the day, you know, we all survived. And hip hop is strong, and so is house. You know, and so and both of them have a place in Chicago.
Definitely.
You know, whether some people still want to believe not or otherwise. You know, it's almost like saying the sky's not blue.
Right. You know, you know, and if we're gonna be honest, and we're gonna keep it 1,000, you know what I'm saying, which I have to do. When certain people started to make house music or hip house music, it was pretty devastating. You know what I mean? It wasn't just that we didn't like it. It was because we had we were trying to advance what we were trying to advance. You know, we were trying to put forth our best effort in order to, you know, because New York rappers couldn't rap like us. Right. You know what I mean? You know, we could take LA, anybody you want to bring. And we used to travel the country, you know. We were not local. You know what I mean? Like, you know, we were everywhere. So, you know, it was just a matter of, you know, a lot of pushback from certain communities. And that was a community that gave us a lot of pushback. And when certain people started making music with them, you know, if we're going to describe it in terms of those days, we felt like that was a sellout move, that you sold us out. You know what I mean? Like you shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? It hurt. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this, because I was just like you, my brother, to be 100 honest with you.
Right.
You know, I like some of the music of house,
Yeah.
But at no point did I ever claim to be a house head.
Right.
Never was, never will be, right?
Right.
But it still don't take away from what they did and
Right.
how they moved in our city.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing about house is, it was music that a lot of people like to dance to. And so one of the things for us as B-boys,
Mm-hmm.
we liked to see the women. So
Exactly.
we knew that, when we went to a hip hop party, it was very few women at a hip hop party back in the
That's true.
day.
That's
So,
true.
but when we went, but if we went, because I used to go skating on Saturday, so
Yeah.
I never even went to house party because that just wasn't my speed. But we would go to the rink on 87th Street,
On 87, yeah.
and so the rink played, a variety of music. They
Yeah.
played house music, they played James Brown, the JDs, and then
Yeah.
they would play electro and they would play hip hop, right?
Right.
And so, it was a variety of music. And so, but we noticed that when they played house music, all the women came out,
Oh
right?
yeah, most
They
definitely.
coming out to dance. Now, when
Yeah.
they playing some Rakim or some, some Just Ice or some Tila Rock or something like that,
Right. Yeah.
it's gonna be more men on the floor just bobbing their head,
Yeah. Right.
maybe
Right.
breaking
Indeed.
or popping or something like that. But very
Indeed.
few women. So, I think that and then, it's a time and a place, like the Bible say, for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, for me personally, I feel like with hip hop, it came to a clash when I was at one event and I seen some house cats looking at us breaking, and they was just like, "Man, get that out of here. That stuff is played out.
Right.
That's played out, man. Get that out of here." And then that's when I knew that was a immediate separation between us.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it kind of became, which side are you on?
Right.
But at the end of the day, they were trying to make it just like we were. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you know the story behind why some people chose to go that route to make hip house, but there is a reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. You go when whatever you're doing is putting food on the table, then you know what I mean. That's a situation that has to be given careful consideration. If you remember back when we were coming up, if you made a TV commercial, you was a sellout. If you were trying to get played on the radio, you was a sellout. You know what I mean? Like, I can remember, Will Smith and Queen Latifah. Let's take Will Smith out. Latifah. You know what I mean? She was a real premier MC. When she started doing other things, I never looked at her the same. How about you?
Well, I would disagree. I looked at, because to me, hip hop was underground for many years, and my thing was, as hip hoppers, as pure hip hoppers, not only were we underground in the beginning, but for the most part, we wanted to be seen and heard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And at some point, you have to come from the underground to be seen and heard. So when opportunities for me directly impacted things to where I began to get more exposure, as long as I was keeping real to myself and my craft, the word sellout didn't matter to me. If I can sell and do whatever I'm doing on the underground, but if I come above the underground and I can still move around and people can support me, and you can call me what you want to, but I'm moving forward in that direction, right? Because as an artist, you're going to sell your artwork to anybody that's willing to buy it, or if you're a music artist, you're going to sell your music to anybody that's willing to buy it. So, I kind of like had a wider perspective on what people used to say, keeping it real.
When it comes to artists, if we use that word, it's like they say a man can be an artist at anything he does, whether he paints, whether he cooks, whether he raps, whether he does everything. But it's one thing that every artist has in common. One thing. Every artist wants one thing above all else.
Right.
And that is to be understood.
Yes.
Yes. And so to be understood, there can be no flip-flopping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm gonna go with the flow, and I'm gonna, do that. Like JMD is my boy. This is my man. He made a hip house record. Listen, he say, "See, I wrote 16 lines to a verse," And if I would have gave you more, I'm sure you would have burst. But I'm gonna let you get on the floor and watch you dance. It ain't that I didn't listen to it. Not only did I listen to it, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Okay, now check this out. Hold your thought, because we need to pay some bills and we need to go to a commercial break.
Okay.
So we'll pick back up where we left off when we come back from these messages.
Okay, cool, cool, yeah.
All right, word.
Hi. Pooh, I think you on mute, babe. You on mute.
Oh, what's up, y'all? What's up? Listen, I know y'all seen these faces around town in these streets. If y'all been under a rock, it's okay. We got you. We're going to introduce ourselves. I'm your girl, Pooh.
And I'm your girl, Bam.
And together we are Pure
Energy. Emphasis on the G.
Most definitely. Listen, we know y'all have been patiently waiting to see these faces on the screen. So we thank y'all for holding us down, you know, just being patient. But guess what? We here and we got a lot in store for y'all. Tell them about it, Bam.
Yes, we do. First of all, y'all, thank y'all again for being so patient. Big shout out to Artistic and his show. Are y'all chiming in? Like, they really talking about some real hip hop stuff. A lot of stuff I didn't even know. But first and foremost, we want to just once again say thank y'all for being patient, chiming in. Pooh and Bam, Bam and Pooh, Pure Energy. We are back, y'all. Okay? We want to make sure that y'all follow us on our social media because we gonna have the bomb podcast, okay? Y'all been patiently waiting. So we want to make sure that in order for y'all to know when we live and when we gonna be on, you go to our fan page, Pure Energy. We're gonna put that link up for y'all in a bit. But we want to make sure in order for y'all to follow us, y'all gotta like and make sure y'all lead in that way to us, okay? We gotta lead, y'all gotta follow, okay? So in that instance, we want to make sure that y'all go to our Instagram. Also, go to RYC Live. Make sure y'all liking that too, because that's gonna be the platform we on. Big shout out to them. Other than that, I'm gonna turn it over to my girl Pooh, because she gonna give a little tea about who she is.
Yeah, but once again, I'm part of Pure Energy. You're gonna get a lot of good energy from me. You're gonna get a lot of big Pisces energy from me because we run it. Period. Y'all know what's up. Don't argue from what after what. But y'all know what's up. But we're gonna provide y'all with the great energy, y'all, great topics. Make sure, like Bam said, to follow Pure Energy. If y'all have any ideas for us, maybe if you want to chime in on the show and be a guest, let's do it. But also follow RYC Live. And also right now we're on Fresh Fridays. He's on this platform every Friday at 8 o'clock. If you are into hip hop, this is your show. Okay. You might want to tune in. You might want to even be a guest. But just know if you are a hip hop head, this is the guru you need to watch. All right. But we are going to give y'all what y'all been asking for. Pure Energy is here.
We here. Exactly. Just like Pooh said, make sure that y'all following us. Y'all know your girl Bam. If you don't know me, I'm the pink goddess right now. Normally I'm a blonde shell, but that's okay. I'm the other half of Pure Energy, and I'm gonna be giving the other tea and also giving y'all the fun side of certain things and making sure that y'all have y'all rich fake girl fantasy, because y'all know I love to live the fit. You know, y'all know me. If you follow me, you know me, okay? And Pooh, she gonna be the reality of a lot of things. But first and foremost, how our show gonna be, you gotta make sure you have your cup too, because that's how we gonna give y'all the tea. It don't have to be tea in it though, okay? Because it ain't in ours. But we want to make sure that y'all have fun. Make sure y'all sipping with us, vibing out with us, because that's what we're gonna bring. Once again, these topics is gonna be hot, y'all. And we want to hear from y'all too. We want to know if you got something you want to talk about, or if you even want to be a guest. Make sure that y'all connecting with us, because that's what we all about, okay? So we don't want to keep too long, because we want to make sure that y'all getting all this fun information, especially from this dope hip-hop historian himself, Artistic. So we want to just give a shout out. But also, too, Pooh, we don't want to forget a certain person now.
Okay. We cannot forget about the incredible producer of RYC Live, Jay. Listen,
What up,
we thank you,
Jay?
Jay. You might know him as JMD, Jay the Magnificent One, Mr. Club Banger. He goes by a million names because he wears a million hats. I know him personally on another level, but the man is everything. So we want to thank you for allowing us to be on your show. We want to thank Artistic for allowing us to be on your personal show tonight, for making time for us. We really appreciate it, giving us our time. But y'all, Pure Energy is here.
We are in the building. Yes, y'all. Once again, make sure y'all following that fan page, Pure in her G. Okay, put an emphasis on that G. And fellas, you put that emphasis on that G for you too. Also, go to Instagram and make sure that y'all following us and just chiming in. Other than that, y'all, we over and out.
We got tacos, noodles.
Word up, word up. So we back once again. Y'all know how we do. We got our special guest, Mr. Flameroc DaGreat, in the building. So, yo, man, let's pick back up where we left off, man.
Okay.
It's getting the conversation getting hot, and so
Yeah.
go ahead and finish what you was explaining, in regard to people deciding
Yeah.
to do what they was doing.
Well, like I say, anybody could have decided that they was gonna do a mixture of hip hop and house music together.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody in the city could have decided to do that, and our opinion of that would have been whatever our opinion would have been.
Mm-hmm.
But certain people doing it
Mm-hmm.
was like an earthquake. You know what I mean?
Okay.
For JMD to do it, it was an earthquake. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, he was a central figure. My mother, his mother, they let us, people don't, the rappers today, they don't practice, they don't rehearse. These are differences between us. They don't read books, they barely share information. You know what I mean? These are things that we absolutely 100% had to do. You had to have knowledge. You had to have knowledge yourself. You had to have knowledge of your topic. When you say a rhyme in JMD basement, it's gonna be critiqued. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Line by line. This is a very serious situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's groups down there. It's LOD down there. I'm down there. Severe Damage down there. No Pity Committee down there. I mean, these boys, Dark Age of Terror down there.
Mm-hmm.
These boys got lyric. Listen to Cameron talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
Cameron did a whole interview where he talked about them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the caliber MCs that's in the building. So, we can pull, we had the horses to pull that cart. There was no need for us to, take what our art and things that we were doing and amalgamate it with house music.
Mm-hmm.
We just did not have to do that. But once certain people did it that had enough clout, Taco Bobski, 3D, these people with clout in the hip hop community, That's like if I would have did it or D.A. Smart would have did it, it would have been a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, wow, okay, so that was a blow. And when that blow came, everybody started to go their separate ways. Okay. What once was all together suddenly was torn apart. And I don't mean that in the most negative sense of the term. I just mean that, I ended up going to California, all around the East Coast, all around Minnesota and Wisconsin. You know, other people started going other places. The Buck crew, a lot of them went to Wisconsin. A lot of them went to Minnesota. You know, once certain cementing factors were no longer there, then everybody kind of dispersed. And I don't think that disbursement was good. You know, it left people on their own, like DA. You know what I mean? And then other people who did not reach back for us. You know, Common, Twister. I mean, you know, I could say things, but it's some things I just don't want to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these were our friends. These were not just, you know what I'm saying, a name to us. You know what I mean? These were people that we protected. Do you know how many people wouldn't have been able to come on the low end if it wasn't for me and DA Smart? Where was you going to hang out on 51st Street? You wasn't going to hang out on 51st Street. You wasn't going to hang out on 48 and 48 where DA from. You know what I'm talking about? You need him. You know what I'm talking about? Or it was going to be issues down there. So, you know, a lot of people got a lot of exposure and they did a lot of different things. And for one group of people, we felt like should have never went that way with the hip house movement. And then another group of people, we felt like decided to leave us behind because they had met, you know, people from New York. They had received record deals. I mean, look no further than Twister and Jihad. See, I can't. This is the problem with me, man. I ain't gonna tell you no lies. I'm gonna
go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give you the real. Look no further than Twister and Jihad. You know what I mean? Look where Twister at. Look where Jihad is at. Jihad is doing his thing in his own ways, making a living for his family, but he should be much more involved with everything hip hop that's going on, because at the time, Cooley and Jihad were premier A1 DJs that could have went with any rap group almost in the country.
Hey, Flame, you kind of blocking your face with your hand. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. They were A1 DJs. You know what I mean? They could have went with any group in the country. You know what I mean? So, you know, there are some things that bother me a bit. You know what I mean? And the hip house thing is the biggest. That to me, that ended a lot of things. You know what I mean? I mean, that stopped people from going to the Wall of Fame and stuff like that. I mean, you know what I mean? We used to go up there and rap every week. You know, if you was a real MC and you wanted people to know who you were, you came to the Wall of Fame. And if you came to the Wall of Fame and you were an unknown MC, you had to have lyrics. You had to be, I mean, you had to been in your grandma's basement practicing for years. You know what I mean? Before you come up there.
Okay. So let me just ask one question in regard to what you just said, just so I could have clarity. Because of the guys that came, and whoever else for that matter, that came together with the hip house movement, because that actually became a movement. You said that prevented you from going to the Wall of Fame?
No, I'm saying that kind of broke up the tradition of everybody going to the Wall of Fame. And rapping and stuff like that, you know? It was kind of like certain people wasn't going to be there no more. And if they was there, we didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I wasn't going to hang around no hip house rappers. You know what I mean? And a lot of hip hoppers felt the same way. They don't say that now. You know what I mean? So I'm going to say it for them. You know what I mean? I'm going to say it for them. It's a lot of things. Like I'm an Islamic brother, and I'll tell you something that Mozart said. You know what I mean? And I'm glad I didn't say it because it is un-Islamic. So I'm glad I didn't make it up. But Mozart said that if music didn't exist, the world wouldn't make sense. You know what I mean? So I believe that. You know what I mean? That's a profound statement to me. And what we do in hip hop is pure. You know what I mean? It's not the continuation of disco music. It's pure. You know what I'm saying? It's not I'm happy, I'm carefree, and I'm all the rest of that. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
It ain't that. You know what I'm talking about? This ain't that.
But would you say that there are other variables involved? Like you just made a statement that to me, you know, I can only agree with partially. I can only agree with that partially because I believe in every culture there's music, there's dance, there's art, and
Yep.
there's fashion, there's vocabulary,
Yep.
right? So there's a combination, there's variables when we talk about a culture,
Yep.
and that's the problem with some people. They keep on trying to, pin in and zoom in on one part of it and forget the rest. And
Right.
you can't do that. And then going back to the decision of the artists in Chicago that decided to go into the hip house era,
Yeah.
now, I mean, I know that there was a time with Chicago MCs, we wanted to get on just like New York, right?
Indeed.
We wanted to get
Indeed.
on.
Because
We wanted to
we
get
were
on.
equally as talented.
Yeah, of course. And so we wanted to get on. We but New York and Chicago is not the same, right? So and not saying that we wasn't as good as the New York artists, but just the fabric of the makeup of the city is not the same. So where the cats in New York, even though they may have not gotten along, they still came together to make what New York eventually became.
Indeed.
They came together and formed record labels, hip hop
Right.
record labels specifically, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that other artists could come on, but we didn't really do that here. So when you think about labels, like what was the labels in Chicago for artists to get on?
Let me say this. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up
Mm-hmm.
because it wasn't that was not attempted.
Right.
It wasn't that was not attempted.
Mm-hmm.
And people can archive and go back and look back. But I believe I was the first person in Chicago to spend my own money to make my own records. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And that's because of the people that I knew. I knew people that had lots of money and they were willing to back me with the money that they had. You know what I mean? So Crush Posse, that's how people knew us, because we was the ones that came out with a record first that we used our own money to do. So it wasn't that wasn't, man, I have to tell you so many stories.
Okay. Let's just step back on that. When did that record come out that y'all produced?
Came out in 1988.
And what was the name of it?
The Crush Posse's in effect. We sampled that with Eric B and Rakim, E, F, F, E, C, T, and Chi-Town Players. So, these were records we put out. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the name of the label?
The name of our label was Under the Table Management. That's what we was with. Under the Table Records. And Outlaw Management was our management company. You remember the Coleones?
I've heard of them.
Trap?
Yeah.
Mike Coleone and General and them, right? So our managers they were the ones who was bringing the major acts to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a rap they said on TV. Chicago, the city of Capone. Ain't no place like home. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna get into the details of Mike, General, or what they family or anything like that. All I'm gonna say about that is it's because of them that other people got deals. Because Chicago is a gangster town.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And things happen there. Words get exchanged there. Things get said there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so when deal time came, they definitely went for a kinder, gentler version of what was available to them at the time.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? That beat, Damn It Feel Good to Be a Gangster, that Scarface and them did. Cooley made that beat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That was off one of our songs. You know what I mean? Right. So our relationship with Texas and Jay Prince and them, that was established way back in the 80s.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, it's a lot of stuff that people don't know, and I don't really want to say, on air or whatever. You know what I mean? But there are lots of things that went on that caused people to get those record deals that they got, and they certainly went for a kinder, gentler version of Chicago MC. That's how Common got on when he first got on.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, I think this is it's layered. I think it really is layered because again, before anybody else was playing hip hop in Chicago, it was either, if you're on the north side, it was WNUR.
Yeah.
If you were on the south side, it was WHBK.
HBK, indeed.
So and even then, their reach was limited. You know, we knew
Right.
about it, but the
Right. It was
world didn't.
localized.
Yeah, the world didn't know
Yeah.
about it. So that in itself kind of made progress in terms of us really coming out even more at a certain level. Because again, like we couldn't go down to BMX or any other commercial radio station and say, "Can you play my tape?" That just wasn't happening. And it was the same thing with the record labels. When you think about the artists that got on coming on signed to the hip hop label or the hip house label called DJ International,
that's who signed 3D, right?
But they had restrictions. You know, you had artists that came on that label that wasn't free agents to come on in there and do pure hip hop. There were restrictions. Right. So you had to say to yourself as an artist, okay, what am I going to do? I want to be heard, but at the same time, I'm hip hop. But the label is saying I got to do my music according to the way the label is saying.
And they came to me the same way. You know, I could have signed a contract like that also. Yeah. And got paid, and I turned it down. But you know, because I want my music to come out the way I want my music to come out. You know, I was going to Bob Murphy Studios at the time. You remember Bob Murphy?
Yeah.
I used to go to Bob Murphy Studio. You know, Leonard used to put in a lot of work on that, on them beats and them tracks and them samples. And you know what I'm saying? People don't remember. I'm going to bring up Bob Murphy and I'm going to bring up Leonard because they need to be discussed too, you know? Because all of us been in that basement. We've been in that studio. And he gave all us chances. You know, and this is back when you know how Chicago is, man. A lot of people was thugs. A lot of people were doing different things that, you know, they may not be doing today, but back then it seemed extremely normal. You know what I mean? Bob Murphy, he was an integral part, you know. Every one of us from the South Side done been to a studio. Every one of us done worked with Len and them. You know what I mean? So it ain't no. I wasn't with the house people, man. Yeah. I was with the hip hop.
I totally appreciate, you know, your perspective again, because house people had their perspectives of us and what they chose that they were going to do and not do. And so do we. But at the end of the day, one thing that you got to admit is that we were all here in the same city at the same time.
Indeed.
And so it was really up to us how we could have made things, because in hindsight, you know, like you said, you know, I was anti-house too, but in hindsight, now I feel like we all could have done better.
We could have been more convincing. Yeah, we could have explained to them that we needed our music the way we needed our music to sound. You know, we from that boom bap era. And you know, that's, you know, okay, make the house music, you know what I mean? But save some space for us, you know what I mean? At the label, you know what I'm saying? And let us compete, you know what I mean? Because that's all we want to do, you know what I mean? We want to compete. And that's what they didn't really want to allow us to do, you know.
But see, here's the thing though. There's a difference between sitting back waiting for something to happen versus being proactive, because even though house people were doing what they did, that didn't affect me from doing what I did, what I love, which was hip hop. You know, so I still was going to the Wall of Fame. I still was going down to HBK. I was still doing things that hip hoppers did, regardless. You know what I'm saying? Because they were doing their thing and we were doing ours. So at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of like I went to school with Terry Hunter. Okay. Terry Hunter is a chosen few DJ today.
Oh yeah, I know who Terry Hunter is. Yeah.
Right, but back in the day, we went to the same high school, and Terry was always house. Okay, I was always hip hop. Terry told me, we walking down the hallway one day, and he said, "Hey man, you know, I'm getting ready to leave this school." I said, "Why?" He said, "This school is weak." I said, "What you mean?" He's like, "Man, you know, I got to go to a better school because this when it comes to house, this school is weak." And I couldn't confront that because I'm like, I'm not house, so I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? You know, I wouldn't know. So and he did. He left and he went to High Park.
Yeah.
And so and now look at him today. And so, you know, but he also still has a respect for hip hop, right? But his field was house. So I respected that, just like I feel like you should respect me. You know, you
Right,
should
right.
respect what it is I love and what it is that I do. You know, it
Indeed.
doesn't matter that if we going down the different paths, but
Yeah.
the main thing is we're in the same city and we're both creative individuals. So if you choose to go that way and I go that way, it doesn't mean that I'm right and you wrong or vice versa. It's just that we have different preferences. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And but
Yeah.
I think for some artists that said, hey, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to be seen. I'm gonna go down here and
Mm.
sign this deal with DJ International. And
Right.
and even if they may have afterwards said, hey, you know, it was a bad idea or whatever, they still did what they did because they chose to do that. Right.
Right.
And we cannot dictate or say, you know, that because of their decision, it affected us. Because
Mm.
it shouldn't have. It should
Yeah,
not
I
have.
mean, yeah, that's definitely a perspective, you know, and I get where you're coming from, you know what I'm saying? I can certainly respect that. Um, as an MC though, you know, as me being an MC and what I felt we were collectively trying to accomplish, I felt that, you know, some of the integral players in what we were trying to accomplish, um, they decided to go a different way. And when they decided to go a different way, there was no announcement made. There was no consideration given to what we had, you know what I mean, talked about before then. It
Yeah.
was all of a sudden, to me, it seemed very opportunistic, you know what I mean? And it was money involved, I'm sure, because it would have been money involved with me if I
Okay.
would have signed up, you know what
Right.
I mean?
Right.
It would have been money right then on the spot, you know what I
Okay.
mean? But,
Okay. Yeah.
you know, I just did not do that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I chose to do some different things and
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
one thing I could definitely say, my brother, is I know that, you know, even to this day, people have certain feelings about some of the decisions that either they made or other people made. But at the end of the day, we all human. We
right,
all, again, we all want to be seen. We all want to be heard. We all need to eat. We all need to have
right,
clothing and shelter and
right,
everything.
right,
So,
right,
so what you do to provide for you and your family, I have no right to interject, right?
right, right,
Just like
right.
just the same with me, right? So at the end of the day, I just feel like there could have been, in hindsight, there could have been a level of more support than what it really was. Because you know,
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, we were almost in self-destruction to a degree. You know,
Mm-hmm.
right here in our own city, there was technically a war going on in some cases, and
Oh yeah,
it was really self-destruction.
yeah.
So, you know, I think that should be a lesson learned. It's over with. It's in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And now the big question, and what's more important now is, what do we do moving forward?
Right, right. And you know, me personally, you know, like I said, I want to work on some projects. You know, I still have a studio. I still have audio and video capabilities. Then I live down here in Nashville, Tennessee, so I have access to some of the best studios in America. So I'm interested in doing some projects, you know, with some of the old school cats and some of the new school cats. But you know, I want it to all be intelligent. You know, I want it to all be on topic. You know, things like that. I want a message to go out. I'm trying to reach a much wider audience. It's like they say, you know, you have 320 million Americans that live here, so that means most of the customers are somewhere else.
Okay.
So, you know, with that in
Yeah.
mind, yeah, with that in mind, I want to be able to. Yeah, so that's my thing. I want to get the message out there. You know, as
Okay.
far as us being here, and you know, I want to talk about the diaspora and stuff like that. So you know, it's a message to be
Okay.
made, and it's hip hop all over the world, and everywhere they speak English, we want to spit it. You know.
Okay. Well, listen, man, I got my brother, Mr. RYC Live himself, in the backstage that is requesting
Hmm.
to come to the front stage. And
Okay,
so
bring 'em.
let's do that.
Yeah.
Yo, yo, yo.
Flame,
Oh, there go my
flame,
man, JM Dizzle.
Flameroc.
What's up, beloved?
What's going on, my brother? Long time no see. It's good to
Oh
have you on
man.
the show.
Oh yes, sir, man. We already talked about your
Ve-
mom's basement, man. You know what I'm talking about? That was early in the
Yes, yes.
conversation.
Very,
You know what I'm talking
very,
about?
very, 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 very interesting and interview, man. I've been stuck. I've been stuck to the broadcast, man, and
Yeah,
it's good seeing you, man. It's been a while, but we
yeah,
finally got you on the show, man. So
indeed, indeed, indeed.
thanks for your time.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
but listen, bro, you have me over here taking notes, bro. I'm over here writing down some
Oh
stuff and
yeah,
trying to get in because I'm like,
I got the history right
I'm,
here, bro. So
bro,
you
bro,
can give me
oh
your
yeah.
opinion on it.
One thing about you, man, you've always had a good memory, man. You can memorize your lyrics and others, and
Right.
it's good, man. It's good that you still have that memory, man. And that's the reason why we do what we do so that we can get that memory before it fade away. And like artistic
Indeed.
say, to connect the dots and things like that, man. But I
Indeed.
definitely had to come in, man, to kind of say my piece on certain things, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
Okay.
you said something, man, like what you said, you actually kicked off a membrane. I wrote
Mm-hmm.
16 lines to a verse. And if I had to
Yeah.
gave you more, I'm sure
I'm
you would
sure
have
you would
burst.
have
That's why I had
burst.
to pause and watch the staff. Then after the break, I proceed again. So this is how you tell if you're whack. Stop and say, no, wait, I wrote 16 lines to a verse. And if I had to gave you more, I'm sure you would have burst. That's why I have to pause and watch you dance. Then after the break, I proceed again. But this is how to tell if you're whack. Stop and stare. Yeah, if the crowd plays musical chairs, they rush to sit down when you're trying to make them get out. Here's my suggestion. He take lessons. Originality and stop trying to battle me saying you're going to be like, want to be like, that'll be never. But back to the subject of making you move to a smooth groove of love. Boy, you look,
Indeed.
I, boy,
Indeed.
hey man,
You know what I'm saying?
look,
I ain't forget it, you know.
man, hey. I mean, I'm like, man, I forgot all about that, man. So you gonna probably have to bring some more to my
Man,
attention.
you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You definitely, you know what I'm saying? You was a premier MC, and not that you're not now, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. Back then, people don't understand. It was about 30 of us that traveled to the Mecca, and we defied all odds. We go against anybody. We go school to school, neighborhood to neighborhood, park to park. When we show up, the champ is here. You know what I'm talking about? It wasn't no questions about what we were or who we were, or you know what I'm saying? And I show up and say my name, you know what I'm saying? I'm Flameroc, you know what I'm saying? They go get the best MC they got. When I showed up to Inglewood, they went and got you. They went and got Top Dog. You know what I'm talking about? This is when I met them. You know what I'm talking about? Because I was from Robeson. I walked down there. You know what I'm talking about? And the Purple Mansion showed up. You know what I'm talking about?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But hey, look, now we all seen Karate Kid. I'm sure most of us have anyway, right?
Right.
And when Mr. Miyagi had the Karate Kid doing certain things, he just really
Right.
didn't understand why he was doing the things that he was doing. But
Right.
he
Indeed.
eventually caught on later as far as
Indeed.
what all of that was about. Some realized at the point later down the line what that was, what sacrifice that was. But at the end of the day, people got to keep in mind, even like a lot of my young brothers, my little brothers, like before I was an MC, I was a DJ and my
Right.
dad was a DJ. And
Right.
so I grew up listening to music of all genres. So I was never stuck as just being a hip hop rap, just stuck to hip hop and rap. I was open to all genres of good
But
music
to
because
us, you was though.
all genres do have good music.
Right.
So because of the fact that I was a little bit more broader in the music, didn't limit me to be in this circle when it came down to my gift. We
Yeah.
got to keep in mind, Queen Latifah, the Jungle Brothers,
Right.
Easy E, Twin
Yeah.
Hype, Rob Bass, all of them made hip house, but whether
Right.
they called it hip house or rap house or whatever they called it, we knew with the BPMs being 120 something that it was
Right.
up tempo. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it shouldn't have never hit y'all the way that I'm hearing. Like it really disappointed
Indeed.
y'all. If anything, it was you. And you got to remember,
I mean,
JMD.
we was happy for you. You know, we
Wait,
knew
wait,
you
wait,
was
wait,
going to London.
wait. Well, one of the things that you all may have forgot that JMD the styles of JMD and what I would do, it would always be a surprise. I used to perform magic when I used to do shows. So for me to do something shouldn't have really came as a surprise to anybody, because man,
we was
Jay,
looking at you like I'm gonna tell you, we was looking at you. You was the answer to Big Daddy Kane. We was looking at DA and them. That's the answer to LL and them. Me and my boys, we the answer to the whole damn West Coast on this reality shit. It was like a space, you know what I mean? That everybody occupied, you know what I'm saying? Doc and Los rap more like me and Severe did. You know what I'm talking about? You was better than Big Daddy Kane to me. You know what I'm talking about?
I'm still better than Big Daddy Kane.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, and DA and them, you know what I'm saying? I was, it was like we got the whole thing in the bag, you know what I'm saying? And it's some things that we not gonna say because they not to be said on this platform under this set of circumstances. But it's other reasons why I would not associate with no house DJs. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, man, hey, listen, I don't know. I did, I knew my limitations to doing house music, and just because they did what they did didn't mean that I had to fall up into that under that no diddy type of circumstance. You know what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? So, I mean, Daryl Patton, you know what I'm saying? It was cats that tried to come at me, but they already, I'm like, bro, dude, I ain't on that, bro. You know what I'm saying? So whoever fell victim to that, again, like I've heard on certain platforms, they say the doors was always open. They never forced anybody. People went into them optional doors because they were curious. I wasn't curious about that. All I wanted to do was have the opportunity. If you look at it, when it came down to Chicago, in order for Chicago to really get put on the map, people were sending demos to the East Coast and the West Coast. Chicago wasn't rocking like that. So everybody was trying to go to New York for a deal. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So the only thing that we really had going on back then, whereas we was getting some major radio play, ended up being hip house. You know what I'm saying? Or house music. Or, you know what I'm saying? So long story short, I passed up on Turn Up the Bass. Turn Up the Bass was originally my song, which y'all don't even know about it. So when Tyree came to me with the proposal to do this, I was like, no, I ain't doing that. But I regret not doing it because it did major. It is what it is. It did well. There was an opportunity. Everybody was really gung-ho on the sellout. You're gonna sell. I ain't care nothing about that because, for one, I'm a visionary. I'm already thinking ahead. Every time I did things, I was thinking ahead anyway, and I had to try to do certain things, whereas my brothers and my little brothers would eventually find out. But then we weren't on the same level. So a lot of, not you per se, but a lot of y'all just really didn't understand my way of thinking and what I envisioned. And you know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, I disappointed some of my brothers because they was looking at me as this figure or whatever and stuff like that. But that was kind of like, that's life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, those who were my friends are still my friends. And you know what I'm saying? And then most of the people that had an issue with me making a hip house song are house DJs or house heads or loving house music now, low key undercover house people that want to play it off like they still strictly hip hop, man. And they sitting up there jacking their bodies and DJs out here that's playing house music. It's a lot of different cats. Titan, for one. Titan was dissing house music back in the days. Right now he's one of the most prominent house DJs that ain't getting his just due. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's dope. He's a dope producer, period. I give it up to Titan. But they ain't giving him what he feel like he deserved in the house world. But back then, JMD, you sell out or whatever. Them same cats, bro. I can name more people than just him who was talking about house and selling out. That's hardcore house heads to this day, bro.
Yeah.
And low key, when we get off this doggone broadcast, you gonna turn some house music on, bro. Because
Nah, but-
house and disco,
Yeah.
the cousin of house music and hip hop is disco. They made
Well,
disco. They
I
made
do
house
love
music from disco.
I
They
consider,
made hip hop from disco.
yeah, I
They made hip
consider
hop,
house music a continuation of disco.
huh?
So I consider some of the house music a continuation of disco.
Hip hop. I mean, hip
That's an
hop
argument
is
that could be
too.
made.
Hip hop is
That's an
too. So
argument.
whether you want to accept it or not, you love some disco, bro, because we all were brought up on
Disco, yeah.
disco.
It's just, it was more to it. It's like you say, man. It was a few more elements to it. You know what I'm saying? And then I was telling him that you and DLJ them first came up with the name Crush. So when that's, to me, was gonna be our Chirac, you know what I'm saying? That was gonna be our thing, you know what I'm saying? Then you left the thing.
No, I never left. I just had to go on tour. I came back. You know what I'm saying? I didn't leave. I didn't
Right,
leave. And then Insane MC Main switched the acronym to Chicago Hip Hop Rappers Unite. I mean, Chicago Rappers United to Serve House Music, because he was
and that was
upset too.
immediately
But
conflict. So yeah.
but y'all shouldn't have never, based off of what I've heard you say tonight, that y'all went y'all separate ways after I toured. I was only on tour for a couple of months. I wasn't gone. When I came back,
all I heard was J&B going to London.
yeah, but I came back.
Okay.
I came back about 3 months later, ready to pick up where we left off from. So you know what I'm saying. So nobody's that shouldn't have segregated or broke up the movement.
Yeah.
The movement still should have, kept going. You know what I'm saying? I'm overseas because I'm trying to do what I can do to get us to the next level, because no matter how many times we would break up to try to form different crews, because that's what Chicago did. They'll have a crew here, they have a crew there. We spreading, but we're not climbing. So you know what I'm saying? We're all hip hop cats. But at what point are we gonna elevate? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So somebody had to try to do whatever to try to take us to the next level. Now, I based off what you said, like certain people didn't look back for us. I kind of feel the same way, but then again, I feel like maybe they're not in the position. Maybe we're thinking something that they're really not. They're not in a position to pull us in like we think they are. Maybe they're still struggling, but they got that saying, fake it till you make it. So we don't know if they're really getting what we think they getting to pull us in. But some people I do know Kanye could have pulled some cats in, because I know some people that was managing Kanye before Jay-Z got a hold to him. But and so some people, I do feel like they could have reached back out or whatever the case may be. But it is what it is, man. We can't. Don't nobody owe us nothing. We just owe it to ourselves. At the end of the day, don't nobody owe us nothing. Even though we grew up with some of these cats, we feel like we would have done it. But we can't expect it from everybody, and it's been shown that we still here. And if we still here waiting on somebody to put us on, you might as well forget that, because that ain't happening. We got to put ourselves on at this point. Ain't nobody giving out no handouts, man, and it ain't really what it is. But with all that being said, man, I'm just so happy to see your face in the place, man. And you're still an intelligent brother. I didn't know you had them degrees, but I'm not shocked, because you've always been a person of intellect, and you was very precise with your cadence and the way that you came off. So you definitely, man, is one in my book, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy to see you in the building, man. I'm happy you're still above dirt, and I'm looking forward to hearing some great things from you in the video.
Indeed.
We got a shout out. We got a shout out real quick before I forget. Some people chiming in.
I'm just summing it up, because we got a bad connection right now. But man, it's good to have you on the platform. Pure Energy coming soon on RYC Live. I'm gonna see you, Flameroc, in the
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay, so let
love
me
and respect to you, my brother.
Love and respect to you.
word up. So so real quick, man, let me just highlight some of the people that chimed in making comments. So we got to shout out to our homeboy Venom from No Pity Committee. He says, Flameroc, wow, what's up, fam? This is Venom, No Pity, 53rd Michigan.
That's
Okay.
right. 53rd in Michigan.
Yeah,
Fuck around with us. You be sleeping with the fishes, man.
Shout out to our homeboy Nightmare, No Pity checking in. Says Flameroc.
What's happening?
Yeah. Thank y'all for checking in, man. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for the love. You know what I'm saying? Flameroc. He says, Nightmare says, Flameroc, where is Loco G?
Loco G, he live in Rochester, Minnesota now, man. He doing good, man. Loco doing good. He got kids he been taken care of, a wife. He chilling, man. You can he know Red and Pete, man, his cousins. Reach out to them. They can get you his number.
Word up. Shout out to our homeboy DJ V8 in the building of the Shy Unit DJs. DJ V8 in the building. Shy Rock Nation all day. Yeah. So yeah, man, we gotta like I said, this broadcast does not allow us to highlight everything under this little time that we have together. But we got to get your number, man. We got to connect. You got to come to the museum too, bro. You got to come down to the museum. Bless us with some artifacts. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got, or create something new. And yeah, man. We just gotta. We still got work to do, is what I'm trying to say.
Indeed, and I still got gas in the tank. So
yeah, exactly. So hey, listen, man. We're kind of coming to the conclusion of this set. So, what would you like to say to any up and coming artist? What would be your words of wisdom that you would like to give them?
Any up and coming artist, study the craft and study music. Don't just sit back and write rhymes and think that's going to get you where you need to go. You have to be able to have a conversation in a room full of musicians in order to be respected. You cannot sit there and not know what notes are, what timing is, what timing signatures mean. You have to recognize a key when you hear a key. These are things that people can learn in a couple of months. You don't need a music degree to learn the things that I just said.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what a closely related key is. You have to be able to have an intelligent conversation about music in order to be able to be taken seriously by musicians. If you can do that, then they are much more apt to give you a quality product than what you would get if you just go in and they give you what their version of hip hop is.
Yeah.
Because you can't explain yourself well.
Yeah, for sure.
So do some studying, pick up a music appreciation book, learn what's in it.
That's what's up. You got any current projects underway that we should be looking out in the future?
Like I said, I want to make a whole album about Africa. There are 54 countries in Africa. There are 2 islands. I want to talk about the diaspora as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking for artists to do that. I can pay them up front. Of course, if I pay them up front, then I'm going to keep the publishing. If they want to share the publishing with me, then they would not be paid up front, and we'll live off the royalties of the album. But I will do all the rest of the work. I provide the studio time. I provide the tracks. I'm going to make sure the tracks all come local from, Rhythm Them and Riot One. And, I'm going to try to make it real Chicago-centric. So if they want to get with me on that, just hit me on my email, shawan@gmail.com, or go on Facebook, Flameroc DaGreat. Everybody knows me. So reach out to me. Reach out through you guys. You know what I mean? And I'm sure y'all will pass the information on to me. And that's what I'm working on right now.
Word up, man. Well, hey, man, I just want to say thank you, my brother. We gonna off the record talk some more, but we definitely got work to do. Like you say, there's gas still in the vehicle, so the vehicle still got some miles to travel.
That's right.
And hopefully we can pick up some other riders along the way that need a lift.
Indeed.
You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. But thank you, man, for coming on the show. We appreciate you. This has been another fresh episode of Fresh Fridays. We do this once again, we do this each and every Friday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so we encourage everyone to make sure that you share this broadcast, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and continue to support us. If you like the programming that you are receiving, continue to show us some monetary love. You can send any kind of monetary donation to our Cash App, which is right down there at the bottom on the scrolling text. That's RYC Live is our Cash App. RYC Live, which is short for Rep Your City. You can send us no small value is not. We appreciate any value, so no small value is too small, right? So we want to continue to pay the bills and keep the platform going. We got some new shows that's going to be underway. So once again, we want to shout out to Pure Energy, our homegirls Bam and Pooh. They're going to be launching their first episode real soon. So y'all be on the lookout. And hey man, again, if y'all have not been to the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum, please come down. We're located at 4505 South Indiana. That's 4505 South Indiana. We're open typically on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. And any other days throughout the week and the weekend is only by appointment. So hit us up. My name is Artistic once again. And before we close out, we'd like to just hit up with a couple more commercial breaks, a couple more commercials, that is. And then we're going to conclude. So one love to you, my brother Flameroc DaGreat. I look forward to seeing you in person, my brother,
yes, sir,
real soon. And we're gonna make some stuff happen.
Indeed. It was a pleasure.
All right, man. One love.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at this commercial, and then after that, we're going to conclude with Pure Energy. All right, y'all, check this out. This is the Olympics, just to give y'all a taste of what's going to happen.
Like somehow, the eyes of the world will be on
Paris. Actually, that other Paris. July 2024 brings the Paris Summer Olympics that you can watch on NBC and Peacock. And each new Olympics brings new events. And for 24, it's breakdancing, or as it's officially called, breaking. And now meet two USA hopefuls who are ready to break for the gold. That's going to do it for Universal Studios Hollywood. I'm Mario Lopez. We'll see you next time.
Breaking gold to the Olympics, it's a lot, because nobody saw it coming, but this actually gives us an opportunity to let the world know about breaking. Because a lot of times people just think we're rolling on the floor or whatever. There's no structure to it, but really there's a lot of structure, there's a lot of training, a lot of creativity that goes into it.
Grace, Sonny Choi, and Jeffrey, aka Jeffro Lewis, have been breaking for most of their lives, but admit there's an added pressure now heading to the Olympics.
We're lucky to be in this position where we get to be in the first group of breakers at the Olympics. Breaking comes from here. So speaking for myself, I really want to be there to represent for this country, and especially for New York, where it really all started.
And before they hit the world stage, they showed off their moves for us.
Word up, word up, word up. So once again, this has been another fresh episode of RYC Live, Rep Your City Fresh Fridays. And we will be back next Friday with another fresh episode with our homeboy, Ronnie Boykin Jr., the world-renowned Chicago hip-hop photographer. Will be on our set next Friday at 8 p.m. so that we can hear his story and learn a little bit more about his contributions. So once again, y'all be on the lookout for our homegirls Bam and Pooh. Bam and Pooh. They're going to be doing a segment very soon called Pure Energy. So y'all be on the lookout for that coming to you real soon. Other than that, y'all, it's time to sign out. It's 9:39 here in Chicago, and it's time to sign off of here. So let me close out. Once again, y'all, one love. My name is Artistic, and I'm out. Peace, y'all.